first meeting I am conducting about on ISS. So this will be the brief introduction on overall performance, overall syllabus, and everything about ISS. We will not go in details for time being. And because many of the participants are new to ISS, they don't know about ISS and they ask what is ISS and everything. So in this meeting, we will mainly keep the syllabus, the topic around what is ISS, how to prepare for ISS, how many times do we require, and everything at all. We will not go in details discussion. If anyone interested on that, further they prepare for the examination, then if they want to discuss more on that, then they can make a group of 5 or 10 people and can mail to me. And if I arrange around 20 to 15, 20 to 25 people mail, if I got, then I will go for a further discussion like these experts. So hope this is clear to everyone. Like many more discussion we can do it, but if you guys are interested, like ISS, RBI, junior statistical officer, like any government job of IS in statistics, and GATE, NET, there are many things in statistics, and there are many opportunities are coming in statistics. So if you peoples are interested on further on that, then please request me and make a group of 5 to 10 people, because I can't arrange a meeting for one people, right? So arrange a meeting, arrange a group of you guys in 5 to 10, and when I will give 5 to like around minimum 25 of people, then I will go for the expert and I will ask them to conduct a meeting. Okay. So as you all guys know about, we have two experts who recently cleared the ISS examination. They will join in few minutes. Aditya Mandal and Pritam Sen mostly. And Aditya is scored rank 25th and Pritam Da scored in 5th rank. So I am telling them to join the meeting and we will start with them. And at the end of the meeting, I have a small surprise for you guys. We will add one more expert on that. So we will tell after half an hour of the meeting, we will add her.
I have joined Shubhajit already. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
I have joined Shubhajit.
Okay. Pritam Da, right. Okay, then we will start with Pritam Da, and Aditya is missing because there is some electricity disconnection in Aditya. I am connecting.
Shall I turn on my video as well?
Yes.
Or is it okay?
Yes. I am also starting my video.
Yes. All right.
So first of all, congratulations, many congratulations to Aditya Da, and for this 1 minute.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's start. And one more thing I want to mention that I conducting this meeting in Zoom. So there's a time limit of 40 minutes. If the meeting end in 40 minutes, please join. Please click the same link and join with the same link. Okay. So let's start with Aditya Pritam Da. And I already mentioned that many congratulations to you for clearing that examination, that IAS level group A officer type job. And so I will start from you that please give us a brief introduction on ISS. What is ISS and which papers are covered, and by ISS clearing ISS, which type of job we get, and why ISS is so glamorous in this statistics field. So give a brief introduction on ISS.
Okay, so first of all, ISS is Indian, which as most of you must
Pritam, you are on mute.
If something happened,
There is some network issue. You can off the
yeah, am I
camera
audible?
and go with only audio. Then there are some there is improvement
Hello,
of
am I?
sorry. Hello. Meanwhile, we will introduce Aditya. Aditya Mandal. Aditya has also joined. He is ranked 25th in this year. Aditya, are you there? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible now.
Shubhajit?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Something was happening with my internet connection, I suppose.
Okay.
So as I started ISS, actually it is difficult from the point of view of the volume of the examination. The examination consists of 6 papers, 4 of them statistics, out of which 2 are MCQs and 2 are descriptive. And the other 2 papers are one of English and one of general studies. Now from general studies paper coming in details, we have 4 topics, one from history, one from geography, one from polity, and one from economics and current affairs. And each of the questions contains 25 marks for 5 things containing 5 marks each. So for GS papers, as you can just imagine, we have to study everything. Like we have the Mauryan era, the Gupta, and from geography point of view, it's mainly centered around the Indian geography, the Indian, the what we said, the drainage, the climate, the physiological factors, so on and so forth.
Okay.
And then from the polity, we have the Indian constitution part. Like there are some common questions like the roles and responsibilities of president, prime ministers, so on and so forth. You can check the questions for details. And in a general section or in the economics GS part, the other part remaining, it consists mainly current affairs. So for the GS papers, the cutoff is not high, so it's 15. To score 15 problem regarding the GS paper, because in generally in what happens in civil service examinations, people have equal weightage in GS, but in our examination, it's just 15 marks cutoff out of 100. But the volume of study that you have to is more or less. So in GS papers, I will recommend everybody that are interested in the examination to buy a civil service prelims book. It's a very thick book. It contains of various sections, and in that book you will find the history, geography, and polity as well. Now coming to the English part, English, the GS paper and the English paper in the examination. First the English one and then the GS one. So English one, again, we have the 100 marks paper consisting of 3 hours. So it consists of an essay writing, 30 marks, a precise writing of 30 marks, to make a paragraph with a proverb that's containing 10 marks, to make sentences, unknown words, again 10 marks, to correct some sentences that are being in some kind of disarray that can resolve words. So this completes the English question scenario in the paper.
Okay.
So again, moving to the second day examination, the exam is conducted in 3 consecutive days. Generally, it's on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So in the first day of examination, we have English and the on the second day of the examination, we have the probability part, the probability statistics. It contains of computer applications part as well, and so the numerical analysis. It consists of 80 MCQs of 2.5 marks each, that is of the full average of 100 marks, and we get a time of 2 hours to complete the paper. And the second paper of the second day, it is again an MCQ paper. It consists of 80 questions from the topics like we have inference in there, like testing and estimation. Then we have the linear model and the official statistics. So these are the examinations of paper 1 and of day 1 and day 2. And I will like Aditya to just briefly describe on the day 3 examination.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Aditya, are you
Thank you,
there?
Pritam. Hello, Aditya, are you there?
Yes, yes.
So before starting from people listening from Aditya, I will give a brief introduction of Aditya. He cleared ISS this time and he ranked 25th. And from a brief, many congratulations to you for clearing this examination. So Aditya,
Thank you.
I want to listen from you the remaining part, day 3 part and day 4. Sorry, day 4, no, day 3 and that interview part. So what is the bifurcation of that? Total 1,000 marks and 800 is first written and 200 is in interview. And give a brief introduction and extra part that Pritam ended, and after that, please continue from there.
Hello everyone. First of all, I will want to make a correction that 800. There are total marks of written examination. It's not 800. It's 1,000, and 2,000 is interview. In the last day, that is the day 3, we have 2 papers, that is paper 3 and paper 4. Statistics paper 3 and statistics paper 4, we call it generally in a conventional part. Statistics paper 3 consists of sampling, time series, demand analysis, index number, and apart from that, the econometrics. And paper 4, there are 7 sections are exist there in paper 4, and a candidate has to choose any 2 from those 7 sections. So what I chose was multivariate analysis and the demography part. So this is more or less the sections, all kind of sections of the paper 3 and paper 4. Apart from that, those who have qualified the written examinations, they are generally called for an interview test that is going to happen in New Delhi UPSC Bhavan. So interview consists of 200 marks. So there are generally 4 members, interview members. They are going to have a general discussion. I mean, there will be no testing of knowledge or any kind of serious kind of questions they will ask. They will ask some basic questions of statistics and basic questions of our hometown or our hobby. This kind of general, they generally test the communication skill or the basic understanding or the current awareness of the MOSPE's activities. These kind of generally things they actually test in the interview.
So Pritam, anything to add in interview section?
See, interview section is a bit tricky. You just can't line a certain syllabus that we have to study during the interview and leave out something. Because in interview, generally, as Aditya mentioned, there are 4 to 5 panel members, and one of them is the chairman. So they may ask you anything about anything they want. Like suppose, and 2 things in common, they will ask some questions from statistics, and they will ask from officials, Ministry of Statistics and Programming Implementation, what's happening around the MOSPE. And apart from these 2 things, they can ask you from anything. First of all, they after you qualify the written examination, and you will be asked to fill up a detailed application form in short depth, and it consists of the sections like they will ask you your hobby, they will ask you your academic qualifications, they will ask you about the career-oriented things as well. And the things you put in your DAF will have to be very deeply scrutinized, because they will ask us, they can ask anything from the DAF. Like for example, I have mentioned as playing cricket in my hobby. And so my panel consisted of a member who asked a very important and very deep question about is there anything who play cricket? They can know there's a V zone, like a batsman, like from mid wicket to cover. It's a V zone for the batsman. It's a very technical point of view from cricket. The ones who don't play cricket generally will not know that. So these people, they basically know everything. So they can ask anything from anywhere. Like for me, they ask about a V zone of cricket. So starting from cricket, then they went to some basic statistics, things like misuse of statistics and what generally is the functions of statistics. And then they went to some basic formulas to check our knowledge. Then they will ask you some conceptual questions like that. And then in my case, they move to the official stats segment. And sometimes they ask you some basic things, like one of my colleague has given the interview, and some of them asked the full form of Amul, the Amul company, as you all know. We don't even know that there is a full form for Amol, but they ask this question, what is the full form of Amol? So these are some tricky questions that they ask in the interview. So I will suggest that in the interview, there is no particular syllabus that you should study from them. You must have certain knowledge about everything, but basically what UPSC does, they don't term it as interview. They say the personality test. Like they will test your temperament, they will test your appearance, your communication skills, the way you present yourself. These are the main things that will be focused in the interview. Means your stats knowledge will obviously be tested, but apart from these, the points I mentioned, like the appearance part, the presentability, these things will also be focused upon in the interview section.
Okay, fine. So that is the main brief of the ISS exam. What is the ISS exam, and the written part and the interview part we talked about. Now, one thing I want to ask you, when we gave ISS exam, one thing we saw that suppose first day there was around 100 students, and from second day and third day it comes around 10-15 students. So what is it is how much tough to clear first two paper? Why people demotivated after giving the first day exam? What is the trick part of the GS and English part? I will ask that question.
See, I think English part, nobody fails to clear the English part, because we are giving the exam after graduation, and so it is expected that people will know some basic English skills after graduation. So securing 100 marks, securing 50 marks out of 100 in English is not a big task. But when you come to the GS paper, as I mentioned, that people often focus entirely on the statistics part, means on the remaining 4 papers, but they leave out the GS parts. And if you see the question papers, because it is not that like you can just answer it without knowing anything. You have to study details of history, geography, because if I'm not wrong, in the year 2018, I knew a girl from Benares, I think. She has managed to score 578 in the statistics and the GS and in the 4 statistics papers, but she has in the GS paper, means she has failed to. People often get demotivated after giving the GS exam, because securing 15 marks is often a challenge.
Okay.
So I will just suggest one thing to people who are here, who is willing to prepare for the ISS examination, that apart from studying statistics in a hardcore, you just manage to find a single hour every day of the examination. You will not have sufficient time for the GS papers. So it is better that you prepare GS from the beginning. Like in the beginning, you have some more time for GS papers and for the unknown section, the unknown papers as well. So my suggestion to the candidates will be to go for the GS parts, start the GS papers as possible, because when the examination here, you will not have the time to study the GS papers. So just start it from the onset.
Oh, fine. So my next question is to Aditya, that what is the overall cutoff? Like first in written section there are 100,000 marks. So what is the overall cutoff? And if I go with paper wise, like paper 1, paper 2, and what should be our target cutoff? How to target our numbers, in which paper, how much marks should I get? So what will be the target? Okay, fine.
So there are actually 4 papers. Statistics there are 4 papers, and there is GS and general English. So I will start with the statistics papers, because when we give this kind of exam, Indian Statistical Service, generally we spend most of the times for preparing statistics. So in case of paper 1, that consists of the MCQ type questions, that consist of general basic probabilities or numerical analysis or basic computer knowledge. Generally, there is a tendency that if you score the above than 80 to above than 85, that is considered to be a good marks in the paper 1. So if someone score around 100 or 110, that is considered to be a very good marks in paper 1. So but the basic the basic aim should be to score more than at least score more than 85 to 90. So that should be a good marks in paper 1. In paper 2, we have seen that some of the students actually in the past scored around 140. Even I know one student from Calcutta actually who scored in the last 2019, the exam 2019, 147. So in paper 2, the target should be around at least above 130. That I am trying to say. But you should try to score as much as possible in paper 2, because paper 2 is a very scoring. And I want to suggest one more thing, that in order to perform better in paper 2, candidate has to study the official statistics. That the part most of the students try to avoid, but there is no escape actually. You have to attempt and correct as much as possible the official statistics in order to score close to 140 or 145 marks. So these two MCQ papers for paper 1, I think above 85 plus, and paper 2 140 plus is good enough. Now
Aditya, you are not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So in paper 1 and paper 2, as I mentioned, that 85 plus and around to 140 is considered to be a good marks. So in case of paper 3, it has been seen that the difficulty level of paper 3 varies in the past years actually. Like in 2020 exam, that the exam we appeared, Pritam will agree that the difficulty level of the paper 3 was much higher. I mean, lots of unexpected questions comes in that examination. But if you consider the paper 3 of 2021 examination, ISS examination of this year 2021, it is compared to be much easier as compared to the 2020. So it varies actually in paper 3. So we cannot say, in my opinion, that this is considered to be a good marks in paper 3, because in 2020, I think 90 out of 200 is considered to be a good marks in paper 3. But if we consider the 2021 paper 3 of 2021, I think 120 to 130 should be a good score in paper 3. So it varies from year to year. But in paper 4, I think 130, above 130 should be a good score, because you are choosing actually 2 sections of your choice from the 7 sections. So you have to prepare, I think, thoroughly. In any 2 sections, you have to prepare thoroughly. And we have seen that around at least over 120, it is the average score for those students who got selected in the final list. So I think students should aim for 140 and should score as close as possible for paper 4, around 140. That's my opinion. And for GS and in general English, actually GS is the most difficult part for the statistics students, because most of the students like us don't have the habit of reading newspaper. So if you actually consider very closely the GS paper, so out of the 100 marks in the GS, particularly in the GS paper, if you consider that 50 marks out of the 100 marks, that means the half of the total marks actually comes from the contemporary topics. I mean, that is related to the newspaper, current affairs. I mean, Indian economy, current Indian economy, or current Indian polity, or current bills that is in the news, or current laws, or current any kind of events that is very much in the news, actually related to that, like CAA, NRC, that came in the year of 2019. So if someone actually have a habit of reading newspaper or following the news, I don't think there should be any serious issue of clearing the cutoff of 15 marks, because the 50 marks out of the 100 marks is in your grip actually. So there are another 50 marks that is actually coming from the conventional history or geography, like these kind of questions that describe the art and culture of the Mughal era, or that describe the way of the ruling of the Gupta era, or the freedom struggle oriented questions, like the contribution of Gandhiji in the freedom struggle, or the where are the similarities and the difference of the thoughts between Gandhiji and Netaji Subhash Chandra. These kind of questions you have to prepare. I mean, you have to make notes and mug up. There is no other way actually. Same kind of things happens for geography also. So climate change, the kind of plantation, this all kind of things you have to read. So what I did is that I spent 7 days, almost 7 days, to preparing those notes for history and geography. So I think that should be enough. I think if someone does not have the habit of reading newspaper, then it's a issue. I think they have to develop that kind of habit, because apart from,
Yes, yes, continue.
because okay, okay. Because without that habit, I think it is going to be very difficult to clearing this exam, because then you have to give lots of effort in the other 50 parts, because you have to make notes or mug up things. That kind of things generally happens. So I actually know lots of people who don't read newspaper or follow news, but they also cleared this cutoff because of that part, because they can mug up all the geography portions, all the history portions, or they actually thoroughly follow the polity books of Lakshmikant, which is a huge book. So so if you are comfortable in reading newspapers or watching news, then it's okay. Then you don't need to actually spend much time on GS. But if you don't have that habit, then you have to, and you do, generally students don't generate that habit overnight. So you have to spend more time actually to preparing those notes and remember things. That's the plan. And for
Yeah.
general English, I think general English is not an issue for most of the students to clear the cutoffs, because there is a essay of 30 marks. And lots of choices are there for essay. I think 7 to 8 of not 7 to 8, I think 5 topics are given, and students have to choose any one of them. Same kind of things happens for the paragraph. There are also lots of options. Students have to choose any one of their comfort zone. There is also précis. So there is not a problem. There is also a sentence correction, that is the grammatical portion.
Yeah.
So there is not a problem. I don't think there is a huge problem for students to clear the cutoffs. But yes, for GS, you have to actually plan very according to your comfort zone, that where you are comfort, whether you are actually interested in following the current activities, current political activities, or current economical activities, or you are not interested on that. Then you have to go through the old books, I mean NCERT books of 9, 10, and make notes. That is the planning should be.
Okay, okay, thank you. So before going to
So one
Pitanda,
thing
I want, sorry,
I-
hello, hello.
yeah, sure.
Before going to Pitanda, I want to, one thing I want to mention
Yeah,
that
am I audible?
yes, yes, you are audible now. Hello, Pitanda, you are audible.
Audible now?
Yes. Hello.
Okay, one thing I want to add with
Yes, yes. Hello, Pritamda.
yeah, can you
There is some network issue.
Can you-
Pritamda, you can off the video,
Yes.
then the bandwidth will increase and you can, your sound will be audible. Hello.
hear me?
Hello.
There is a network issue, I think.
Everyone else, one thing I want to say that the meeting is just I said in starting that it's a 40 minutes meeting. So if the meeting end, then the time has already started. If the meeting end, then please rejoin with the same link. Okay. Hello, Pritamda.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, I have between due to some internet issues. So am I audible now?
Yes, yes, yes. You are audible. You are telling something.
Yeah, one thing I want to add just yeah, am I audible now? Sorry for inconvenience.
Hello.
I think there is an network issue after.
Pritamda, your voice is not clear. So, hello. Okay, fine. So there is some network issue in Pritamda system. Hello. Okay, so let's continue with Aditya right now. Then when Pritamda will join, then we'll add him. So one thing I want to ask Aditya that in fourth paper, I want to ask about fourth paper. In fourth paper, there is 6 papers. We have 6 options, and we have to score high. We have to wisely choose that the 2 paper I have to answer. So what should be in our mind to choose which 2 papers should I select? Just a minute, Aditya. Pritamda, are you fine now?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible now.
Yeah, one thing I want to add with Aditya, just
Yes.
a point he said that we have to read newspapers. That's really important from the point that once you qualify your written examination, you have to appear for the interview, and in that interview you'll be asked the
Right.
current topics as well. So reading newspapers is equally important from that point of view as well.
Right,
You can't
right.
entirely rely upon histories and geography. You have to read newspapers and have to learn what's happening around you as well. That's very important.
Right. Fine. So let's start. Sorry, Aditya. Let's start with Pritamda. That Pritamda was not meeting. So what I was asking to Aditya that in the fourth paper there is a 6 paper and 6 topics. Out of 6, I have to choose 2 topic. And for scoring marks, choosing that 2 topic is more vital thing. So during choosing that 2, which 2 papers should I go for? Which points should I keep in mind? Hello.
I think that depends on candidates, because you actually can't know which paper is going to be more scorier than the other. So it depends on the comfort zone and the knowledge one has and the priorities one has. Suppose I am more comfortable with suppose demography and SQC, and you may not be comfortable with SQC. You are better equipped with design of experiments and multivariate. So that thing varies from person to person, I guess. One has to choose according to his strength and not according to the scoring perspective.
Right. Aditya, anything to add?
Yes, already Pritamda has already explained all the things that how to choose the 2 sections. So I will want to add one thing, that you should also consider the syllabus of the topics. It should not be very vast, and the notes should be readily available for that. That is also the problem. Also, the one of the major points to be considered. And another is that there is another approach that instead of preparing for the 2 topics, some of the students actually what they do actually prepare for 3 topics, because over the years we have seen that actually some of the topics are not actually coming from the regular questions or the conventional questions. Like I want to mention in 2019, if you look at the demography part, actually particularly in the 25 mark section, there were lots of what I can say unexpected questions, and those who actually attempted those demography part, their score in the paper 4 was a lot lower as compared to those who did not attend that demography part. Similarly, in 2020 examination in paper 4, the multivariate part was much difficult as compared to the SQC or the demography part. So those who actually attempted that multivariate part has a basic disadvantage in marks for those compared to those students who did not attempt. So that is also a thing to be considered, that you should, instead of preparing for the 2 topics, you should also consider to prepare for a backup, because in that these kind of things can happen with any topics. Suppose some students actually prepare for design of experiment, they prepare all the questions for the last 4 to 5 years, and he or she is very confident, and suddenly he came to the examination hall and see that there are a lot of unexpected questions. Some of the questions completely new to her.
Yeah.
So that is a very much possibility that may happen. So I think that should be in the mind, that whether you want to take the risk for preparing the only 2 topics, or you want to play safe and prepare for 3 topics. That should be also in mind.
Yeah. Huh. So my next question is to both of you, that what is the time frame? Suppose I have to give exam next year, and what should be my time frame? That there is different types of preparation. The first time I am preparing that, overall I am reading the thing, then I am practicing, then I am giving mock test. So what is the total time frame? Overall time to prepare for ISS, is 1 year enough for the ISS, or we have to prepare for 2-3 years? And what is the process? How should I approach the ISS exam?
Well, I think 1 year is enough, and you should start as early as you can, because sometimes it happens that many of us are employed in some other companies as well. So we have to work and we have to study at the same time simultaneously. So you should start at the earliest. Means if you plan to give the examination, you should start as early as you can. Because, and I think if you prepare 1 year in a dedicated manner with full concentration, it will clear the exam out. There is no need to just go to the second attempt or expect to clear it on the second and third. And 1 year is preparation is enough. Start as early as you can. That will be my suggestion.
Right. So here I want to ask one more thing, that in this time period, suppose many of us cleared the exam, given the MSc, after clearing the MSc exam, many of our friends in working in corporate section and many other section, but I am preparing for ISS and I'm sitting blank without no job. I don't know what will be the result, if I will get job or not, I will get ISS or not. So what is the motivation? How you guys keep yourself motivated during this period, when all your friends, maximum of your friends are working in a corporate and paying very good salary, but you guys are preparing for ISS? So what should be the motivated? What should be the motivation that time? How you guys keep motivated yourself?
See, I can answer point. MSc, I have joined a corporate sector. Just work for a period of 3 to 4 months. The people who work in corporate sector, there is a lack of work-life balance in corporate environment. So the people who are suited in that, they can manage time from that. That's okay for them. But for people who are on a different zone, that they want some better work-life balance, then I think their zone should be either the government job sector or the academic. Because I think I will prefer work-life. Depends on people to people. And one, you have to keep your patience, dedication, and perseverance to clear examination such as a volume of UPSC level.
Right.
So to clear UPSC examination, you have to be patient. That's the most important thing. And after all, you have and you have to hold your perseverance to the next level, because it will just test your patience out, I think.
Right.
And one more thing that people often thought about everything, and I will study for 24 hours a day. But from practical point of view, studying for 24 hours a day will just make you frustrated. Yeah, you can't actually study all. You have to find the perfect study, like anything, means without enough that. At the same time, you just think of fun. What will happen if you don't examination? Because there is a high chance that you may not clear the exam on the first attempt, and it is not possible to sit at home doing nothing for continuously 2 to 3 years. Right. So just apart from giving, preparing, think of a further option, that if suppose session is cleared, either
Mostly Adi, Pritam is left. Aditya, anything to add?
First of all, actually, yes, that's the problem that after passing the MSc, actually, particularly in our subject, there are lots of job opportunities are there in any universities. Like students can be from CU or IIT Kanpur or IIT Bombay or Kalyani University or Presidency University. There are lots of jobs or job opportunities. So it's very hard to decide that whether to go for a job or to stay in the home and prepare for it. Definitely to make the second choice, it's a little bit difficult as compared to the first one. So but you have to keep in your mind that what is your bigger goal, what's your ambition. That is I mean, for my choice, in my case, actually, I actually ask myself that whether I will be happy in the corporate sector or not. And the answer I came from within myself that when I look at me after the 15 years or 10 years, I will be not be a happy person working in the corporate sector, because in the working in the government sector was always my ambition or dream. So definitely I started preparing for that. But here I also mention one more thing, that about in addition of having any kind of ambition, you should be also be a realistic in approach. I think I mean that a student can attempt this exam for the first time or the second time or the third time, but it is not advisable to give the attempt infinite number of times. Like students generally pass the MSc at the age of 23, and he is continuously giving attempt after attempt, and but every attempt he is failing. So definitely there should be a call that whether
Right.
they should be continuing giving the attempt or should go for the corporate sector. I think that should be in mind, that in my case.
Okay, fine enough, fine enough. Okay, I have three more questions, short question. One thing is that how institute brand like IIT, how institute brand effective for ISS job? Does it value anything in ISS getting clearing ISS job? Any one of you, Pritam, Aditya, any one of you?
Actually, will Pritam answer this question?
Yes.
Okay.
Will you repeat the question, please?
Does institute brand value affect anything in getting clearing ISS? Brand value of institute, in which institute we are reading?
I think value doesn't matter, but what happens is that like knowledge as well. So that will add to your preparation, but brand value in that sense, I think it doesn't matter.
Right. Okay. Fine.
Yeah, Aditya will explain it, I think, in a better way.
So if you look at the exam pattern, I think 1,000 marks of written examination, and in the written answer sheet, actually you are not allowed to mention anything apart from your roll number and if I'm not wrong, the venue code. Pritamda will agree with me. So when the actually the checker, the answer sheet checker will check your answer. So he will not have any idea that where from which institute you are coming from, or from which place you are coming from. So institute value in that sense does not matter. It only matters that how you write in the answer sheet. That only matters. But what I am trying to say, that it sometimes matter in the interview panel. That is what I actually got some I got some idea from the previous candidates, because I know one candidate, Shubhajit will agree with me, that in 2017 batch, Jishnu Datta was from ISI Kolkata, and he actually scored very good marks. I think till now it is the highest marks. Nobody actually, after 2017 there are three batches actually gave interview, 2018, 2019, 2020, but nobody although in case of 2020 the marks are not still announced, but after for the 2018 batch and the 2019 batch as well as the 2017 batch, nobody actually able to cross that score. So sometimes actually I guess that in case of the interview panel, it matters that if you are coming from the good institutes like ISI or IIT Bombay or Presidency University or the Kalyani University, actually it creates a good what I can say is the good vibration in the minds of the interviewer, that they will ask you some good questions because they assume that you have some good statistical knowledge as well as the mathematical knowledge. So this because ultimately at the end of the day, human interviewers are the human being, so all kind of human emotions exist there. So it may happen, but generally I don't think that these institute values actually create much difference between the participants, because if you look at the merit list, there are lots of students who are coming from not so known universities. So this is, I don't think so.
Okay, fine. Right now, I want to ask one more thing, that is MOSPI, internship in MOSPI. How is it is helpful in ISS interview or ISS questions, MOSPI internship? Aditya or Pritam, any one of you? Those who are interested, sorry, continue.
In MOSPI will be helpful from the, I think it will be helpful from the point of view that you get to know about the ministries or the
Right.
statistical structure in a better way. And it will, I think it helps you in the official stats part as well, which we have in the second paper. I think apart from that, in the interview panel as well, you will have a better understanding about how government is dealing with data structures, how results are outputted in what. So that things will, I think, in the interview panel as well. And you will have to you will know the things in a better way if you work in MOSPI in some designation or the other.
Okay, fine. And one more thing, that in previously ISS for sorry?
Actually,
yes,
okay. So can I add anything?
Yes.
Okay, so in case of MOSPI, actually there is a part named official statistics in paper 2. So it is mostly related to the MOSPI kind of work, what what kind of surveys MOSPI is doing, or what is the time period actually. So if you don't do any kind of internship in MOSPI, or if you don't work with any kind of official data, then you have to mug everything. You have to go to the website, you have to make notes, you have to mug up all those things, store all the informations in the mind. But if you, I think it's my personal opinion that those who actually did their internship from MOSPI, or who have used the official data, like actually, I am saying this is from my experience, that in the first attempt in 2019, I have no idea about the MOSPI or the kind of survey they are doing. So I actually scored 0 out of 50 in official statistics. I did not attempt any questions. But in the second attempt, before the second attempt, I actually did a 7-month course from 7-month project from ISI Kolkata, and I used the 67th round of consumer expenditure survey data for that. So I actually have some ideas of MOSPI's work, like any kind of survey, like what is the time period of the consumer expenditure survey, what is the time period of the ASI, what is the time period of the economic census, what is the unit of that, what is the sample design of that. And I actually did manage to score 7 to 8 questions out of those 15 questions from official statistics without mug up anything, without spending any extra time for actually mug up or any kind of preparation in official statistics. So I think that in that sense it matters. And obviously, if you are doing MOSPI internship, definitely it will help you in interview. I mean, so students is going to the interview panel, before the interview panel, without having any kind of job experience. So the interviewer have to ask something from their mind. Interviewer have to generate questions in their mind, and they have to ask you. But if you mention in the DAB that you have done the MOSPI, definitely the obvious questions come. What kind of work you have done in MOSPI? What is under whom you did this kind of things, because and most of the interview panel members are from the actually ISS officers or IES officers, so definitely they will feel comfortable of that. So I think particularly in the interview section, it makes some differences.
Right. Thank you. Before going to next question, I want to introduce one of my guests, that Sonakha. Sonakha has joined. He cleared ISS in last year, and he also in JAM joined admission test in JAM. He ranked 25th, and in from IIT Kanpur batch, he got in our batch. He got a highest package in a corporate job, and she did a job, and after 1 year of doing a job, she go for ISS exam and also ISI JRF, and she cleared ISI JRF and ISS simultaneously. So get welcome to Sonakha. Sonakha is now working as an ISS officer. So from her, we will know about the after getting ISS job, how is the life and how she shifted from corporate, see the both the things, corporate and government. So we will know little about all the things from her. So Sonakha, up to you.
Thank you, Shubhajit. I hope everyone is well. I can see some of the faces that I already know. Aditya and Pritamda, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Yes. So, and I would like to, before starting anything, welcome to the service. We are eager to join you soon. I will meet you soon. And Shubhajit, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
So, what exactly do you want to know? Can you please
First
you want an
of
overview
all,
about?
you would give us a little introduction about ISS. Why ISS is better? Why ISS is so much glamorous rather than corporate? Why ISS? Why you chose ISS? So first, give a little introduction on that.
Okay. Yes, sure. Like ISS, first of all, like any government job, it is not very glamorous. Like there is no glamour in government job like corporate. Corporate, you get a lot of money, you get a lot of exposure to like international market and national companies. So government job is not at all like that. So, but yet I was interested into government job, especially into ISS, because I am completely from statistical background. I did my BSc and MSc, both in statistics, and the kind of application that we have here in ISS is huge. The ISS CADAS, we work in different kind of ministries. Like every ministry needs a statistician. So if anyone from our last batch was present, he or she would have explained it better. But as far as I know, I can tell you that last year, our seniors who got posted in December, none of them were posted in MOSPI because there was no vacancy there. They posted in different ministries ranging from defense to Ministry of Empowerment, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health. In fact, the highest rank in ISS is called DG, so Director General. So we have got 5 DGs, and only 3 of them are from MOSPI. The other 2, one of them is from Labor Bureau, which deals with about labor force, etc., and the other is about in health. So the extension of usage of statistics is so huge in labor statistics as well as in health statistics that we have got 2 DGs there. And other than that, in our own ministry, MOSPI, we have got several other posts. Those who are preparing for ISS, they must be aware of the different departments of MOSPI itself. So we have got national accounts, we have got price statistics division, we have got SDRD in Kolkata, which deals with designing the sample surveys and conducting the surveys and publishing reports. MOSPI has got a huge extent as well. But our initial posting, generally, it depends on the vacancies. But eventually, you get to work on different kind of ministries if you come in ISS. So you get you get to see a larger picture of the application of statistics in all over India, which is not possible at the level of working in corporate. So
right.
That's the glamour about ISS.
Right, fine. And one thing I want to know that you worked in corporate for 1 year, and everyone, the Aditya and Pritam, they also mentioned that the work-life balance and all the thing from corporate to private to government. So what is your work-life balance? What is your daily routine as an ISS officer?
I am a probationer right now. So for the first 2 years, all ISS officers go through a 2-year training. Not exactly 2 years, less than 2 months, less than 2 years. The last 2 months are reserved for on-job training. So we kind of have a routine like right now we are attending online classes because our batch is an exceptional batch. We don't do the offline training as like our previous batch did. So it kind of starts at 9:30 or about 10. It depends from module to module, and we get a lunch break. Also, we get tea breaks, and it ends at 5 or 5:30. Very rare, in very rare situation, it continues after 5. So yes, as compared to corporate, I get a lot of work-life balance here. In corporate, I had to work like some days felt like I used to work all day, like going to the office at 9, coming back at 5 or 5:30, then again a Zoom meeting at 8 with a client from USA, because you have to match with the US time. Sometimes they used to keep a meeting at 7 a.m. So yes, I get a lot of balance here. I get to play, we get to learn new things, especially this probation, this training period is very informative. Like you get to learn a lot of things now. And regarding after joining, what our seniors mostly face, yes, not all ministries treat their employees same. Some of the ministries are very cool. They let you out at 5 p.m. sharp, and you get to do whatever you want after 5 p.m. But some of the ministries are not that flexible about timing. So sometimes you get to work till 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Especially when you have parliamentary session, questions from parliaments come, and you get to make the answers ready. So for that, during that time, it becomes a bit tough, and yes, you have to work for longer hours then.
Okay.
But that's temporary. It's not like round the year.
Right. Fine. One more question and was that in previously ISS, the eligibility was MSc, and for last 2 or 3 years it comes down to BSc. So suppose here many of the students are from BSc. So if they want to appear for ISS, so what is the proportion in ISS examination? What is the syllabus proportion of BSc and MSc? Can a candidate go for ISS with only BSc? And what extra thing he or she have to learn?
I don't think BSc syllabus is sufficient. Like yes, covers around 80% of the syllabus. I would say that, but paper 4 has a lot of variety. You get to attempt many papers. So you have to attempt 2. So it depends on the papers that you choose. It has some specialized papers like demography, SQC, which may not be taught at BSc level. So for that, you might need MSc knowledge. And also we had in paper 3, I guess, no, paper 4 only, you have got multivariate. Very few colleges teach us multivariate at BSc level to that extent, the questions that comes in the examination. So it's better if the people get advantages if they have done their MSc.
But they can start from BSc, they can start preparing for the exam from BSc.
Of course, sure. BSc, in fact, BSc syllabus also covers a large proportion, especially if people are from Calcutta University. I know the syllabus of Calcutta University, that's why I can tell about that.
So anything to add, Shonaka, anything to add? Who are the new people who are preparing for ISS, who are looking for ISS? Anything to how to prepare, anything, a brief overview of that, anything, how you prepared for thing, and how to prepare for ISS exam?
I did not start preparing from the BSc level itself. Like I was an aspirant, of course, from BSc, but I started preparing after completing MSc, in fact. So, but I would not suggest people to do that. If you're an aspirant of ISS, I think you should at least start going through the syllabus. Like prepare yourself. Keep in mind what you have to study, what you have to learn, and the competition is increasing every year. Previously it fit into the syllabus of the Calcutta University. Everything was much more simpler than it is now. So I think with increasing competition, you have to put more stress. So start preparing early. At least go through the syllabus first, go through the question papers, and put special attention into GS. I was very weak in GS. I never used to read newspaper. I was not attached to any kind of news articles or anything. So I had to put extra pressure for GS. Like follow up with the current affairs book. They come out every month, any magazine, current affairs related magazines. And there are many sites also which gives you news about current affairs. You can do that. And other than that, if English is a problem, start practicing about English as well. And the very important thing is MCQ part. Like you can score a lot of marks from the MCQ, because paper 3 and paper 4 are random. You do not know how much you have to write. People sometimes don't have idea, but MCQ is fixed. So practice MCQ. MCQ is the key. The more you can score in MCQ, the better it is for you. That's my suggestion. And Aditya and Pritanda can tell more about it. They must have already said about that.
Yes. Okay, fine. And one more thing, that Sunaka, that you already did a job, and as far as I know that you prepared for ISS along with your job. So how to balance the thing? Suppose anyone get prepared for ISS after MSc, should he or should can do job and ISS preparation along with, or he have to only focus on ISS? How you did?
It depends. It varies from person to person. It is very tough to study after office hours. So I used to study for like 2 to 3 hours. I tried to study for at least 2 to 3 hours daily. And sometimes I used to take leave. I just called my manager and said, I'm ill, I'm taking sick leave. And that day I used to study the whole day. Literally, whenever I got time, I used to study for ISS because brain doesn't work at ISS much. You have to study a lot. Like, you have to study. That's the thing. You just cannot let it pass.
Or anything to add about RBI exam?
RBI exam, I think it has got a specific syllabus, and RBI exam has a minimum qualification of MSc, which is better, I think, than ISS, because if you do MSc, you get a lot of extra knowledge, which is required. And if you go through the RBI previous year's question paper, and if you go thoroughly through the syllabus, you get a lot of questions common. I have seen that. And the RBI interview is also like, it is, I haven't appeared for RBI interview, but as far as I have heard from other people, other batchmates of mine, they have said that you get an idea after giving the RBI exam, like you'll know if your interview went well or not, which is very confusing in ISS. But and RBI question papers also, they're good. Like the question patterns, you can attempt them, you can write them. At least if you prepare well for RBI, there is a good chance that you'll clear the paper.
Right. Thank you, Sonaka, for your valuable time, and thanks a lot again. And I will, before wrapping up the whole thing, I will go for Pritamda and Aditya, both of you. I want to ask one final tips for the juniors who are preparing for ISS. Hello, Pritamda.
One final tip I will want to give them is, am I audible?
Yes. Yes, you are audible.
I want to give them is that stay focused, first of all. Keep your dedication level up to the mark, and patience is one of the most important things here. So keep patience, stay motivated, and one more thing, that do not just tend to study for all day long. Just keep your work-life balance here intact. Make some leisure hours. Just enjoy your studies. That's what I will say, because otherwise there's a high chance of getting frustrated. So don't go in that zone. Be in your comfort zone and study in a dedicated manner. That's all I want to say.
Aditya?
I have nothing to add more. Pritamda already mentioned all the things. I think that's the key point. But one thing is worrying, that the seats of the vacancies, the number of vacancies in the ISS exam, actually it is decreasing day by day. In 2021, it is 11 total number of seats. So the competition obviously would be much tougher as compared to our years of 2020. But we have to then see that what is the number of vacancies in 2022 or the year later, 2022. So I think I will also suggest students, along with preparing for this examination, actually, this is not only one service that you can join after passing the MSc. So you have to be very realistic. I think that is the key thing. I mean, so if the number of seats are 11, total number of seats are 11. So I think the students have to decide, make a call, I think. So there should be a backup plan, I think. That's the key point, I think, because if you put all the energy for 2 years or 3 years for these examinations, and for the next consecutive 2 or 3 years, the number of seats remains the same kind of like 11, 12, 13, and you don't get selected, because then after 3 years, you move to the corporate sector, it will be a bit more difficult. Shubhajit can elaborate more on that, because the corporate sector people have a mentality that they don't want to accept the kind of guys who have a gap after the MSc or this kind of thing. So I think along with doing along with preparing for the this examination, students, if possible, should do any other things also, like doing a project from some universities or doing some part-time job. That should help, because that should be a part-time, I think, backup, because after 2-3 years, if someone wants to move to the another sector in the corporate sector, or do any kind of banking sector, so they may have a excuse that why they have wasted. The corporate sector definitely will ask that what were you doing for the 3 years or the 4 years. So they will can give a explanation that what they were doing, that they can say that I was doing a project from this university, or I was preparing for this kind of examination. But so wholly preparing for this examination and then moving to the corporate sector after 3-4 years, that is going to be a bit difficult. That's my suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you guys for your kind information. Students, anyone, anything to ask? Hopefully I have asked everything you have submitted. Anyone, anything to ask? Okay, if they have no question, then we can wrap up the thing. So once again, thanks a lot, you guys, for your time, for giving to help me to conduct in this thing, to help the students. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Shobhajit, for conducting
Thank you.
this session. I mean, I think it was really helpful for the aspirants. It is
Thank
a very good initiative.
Yes, obviously. Thank you.
Thank you.